Okay, so I've got my hull glued up. So far, I've just glued the transom to the side of the boat, right? And this is just, the form is just loosely placed in here to kind of give the boat some shape. I mean, it's kind of close to where I'm going to want it, but I'm not going to fully locate it until after the whole boat is all glued up. I taped the stem together, but I'm not sure how careful a job I did, so I'm going to take it apart now and retape it, making sure that it's exactly where I want it to be. And what I want, I would like this bottom edge here to be nice and even, and I want the top edge to be nice and even. And when I was taping it to glue up the transom, I was just kind of giving it a basic shape, so I'm not sure how careful I was then. So I'm going to throw this little masking tape away, and I'm going to get a few pieces of masking tape ready. Okay, so I've got one piece, one for the bottom, one for the top, one for the middle. Okay, so I'm going to start right here. I want this to be meeting this is the bottom of the stem, and I don't want them to be off. You know, you can see I don't want them to be off. I was just sort of exaggerating them. I want them to be nice and flat right here. So I'm just going to, I think it might be helpful if I stick it on one side and then get those guys lined up so that they're nice and flat. And I can feel that. I think I can feel it. Yep. And put this piece of tape over here and snug it down. Okay. So that guy seems pretty good. So now I'm gonna flip it over, get this back in place. I've got a piece here, and I'd like these two to come together and meet just on their inside edges, but I want this top edge to be flat. That's my main concern now. So I've got this. I'm going to stick that over there so I can pull this together, make sure that I'm nice and lined up at the top edge. And if I am, I can stick that tape on there. Let's see. That looks pretty good. Yep, so I'm just kind of looking at it to confirm that this edge is lined up and this edge is lined up. And I'm happy with that. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Then I'm going to take this piece of tape and I'll put it right in the middle. This one I don't have to worry so much about lining up. Just putting a little pressure on it, right? Because if the top's lined up and the bottom lined up, the middle's going to be good. So now I've got my stem. And my stem, I'm going to put right in here. And I've chamfered my stem, meaning I've cut an angle on my stem all along here, right? And all along here. So I should be able to put glue in here and kind of set this in. And what I want is when this is sitting on the ground, so when the front end of the boat is sitting on the ground, I would like the bottom of this stem to be flat with that, right? Just like that. Now, I could also look at it this way, and when I have the stem in place, right, I'd have to actually put the hull up a bit because the stem pokes out. When I put the stem in place, I want it to be, you know, flat with this top here, right? So let's do that. Let's put some glue in there. So I'm going to take some of my liquid glue. Now, if you have, you could use yellow glue, you could use white glue. If you use white glue, you're going to probably need to use a little bit more of it because it probably soaks in rather than sits on there. But yellow glue, white glue, you could use super glue, you could use hot glue. So you have a lot of choices. So I'm going to first get it coming out and put a little bead. Oh dear, my yellow glue has a little problem. It's not coming out, so I might have to. There we go. Better. Okay, so I'm going to put a bead on this, on one side and on the other side. And I'm going to put a little bit in here, if I can get it in there. I might need to smear it in with the stick a little bit. If you have like a toothpick at home, that would work good. Okay. So I'm just kind of getting a little bit of glue in there. All right, I'm going to slide this guy in here, and you can feel it grab almost right away. And I'm going to push this all the way down to the ground, all the way down to the masonite, so I can slip this guy in and make sure it goes down to the masonite. Then I'm going to take a clothespin and clamp that right on there, so it's kind of centered between them. I'm going to flip it over, and something I discovered, a clothespin is not big enough to make this close. So if you happen to have a little clamp like this, which is I think it maybe is just a 1-inch spring clamp, that would work because it's going to just reach right over that. I'm going to flip it back over so I can see kind of what's going on, make sure it's centered. All right, that looks good. All right, so I'm going to put something underneath there, or actually, if I'm gentle, I guess I can just lay it down like that. Now, if you don't happen to have one of these clamps, you could use a piece of masking tape to tape that in place. You could, on my last demonstration when I was showing how to do it with epoxy, I just broke a stick and put it in between these two. So there are different ways to get that guy to hold in place. And if you have nothing, no clamps, you could just give it a little rub. Don't put pressure. If you put one on the top, you have to put one on the bottom. Otherwise, don't put any clamps, and just let the glue dry a tiny bit on both sides. Not all the way dry, but just a little bit so it's tacky, and then rub it into place, and then just let it sit, and don't touch it, and it will stick on its own. Okay?